Even with years of development, a follow-up series was not secured by Star Trek's iconic fame. Gene Roddenberry's science fiction series first debuted on CBS in 1966, and since then, it has repeatedly faded into oblivion before resurfacing in popular culture. Despite the cancellation of the live-action series in 1969, Star Trek's popularity skyrocketed throughout the 1970s. What truly transpired with Star Trek Phase 2? Let's have a deep vision of the truth. Did you know that the Lost series, the second season of Star Trek, offers a detailed look into the conception and initial years of the ill-fated spin-off? Well, we've missed it for some reason. The second phase of Star Trek, the Star Trek saga's missing chapter, is told in the Lost series, which also features extensive behind-the-scenes details on the show that almost never happened. Enriched with never-before-seen color illustrations, storyboards, plans, technical data, and images, this book unveils the concept underlying Gene Roddenberry's misplaced futuristic vision. The decline and the cancellation of Star Trek's Lost series Phase 2 started when Paramount decided to upgrade themselves. In short, a planned television series called Star Trek Phase 2 was intended to carry on from the first Star Trek series. It was first revealed in the 1970s as a successor to the original program, which had ended its run in 1969 after 3 seasons. The show was initially scheduled to premiere on the Paramount Television Network and was supposed to have the original cast of characters. But following the announcement, the show's plans started to unravel. The popularity of Star Wars, which led to a shift in attention from television series to high-budget science fiction films, was one of the main causes. In addition, Paramount started concentrating more on making feature films than television shows. Star Trek Phase 2 was never developed as a result, and ideas for the show were shelved. Nevertheless, a number of the concepts and ideas created for the series subsequently found their way into Star Trek films and television programs, including Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek the Motion Picture, and Star Trek The Next Generation. Comparing Star Wars to Star Trek would be comparable to contrasting Blade Runner and The Lord of the Rings. Many people erroneously refer to Star Wars as science fiction. Fantasy is what Star Wars is. Star Trek Phase 2, which included concept art, set photographs, and 2 full scripts from the series, In Thy Image and The Child, was previously noted. An unproduced story concept Roddenberry had created for Genesis 2, titled Robots Return, served as a loose inspiration for the plot of the 2-hour pilot, In Thy Image. More specifically, his script for the cancelled Star Trek movie The God Thing served as the basis for it as well. The script for In Thy Image described a massive extraterrestrial spacecraft that is en route to Earth and will destroy all that stands in its way. While Kirk tries to put his former crew back together, the USS Enterprise, which has been undergoing refurbishment, is rapidly prepared to stop the vessel. When the crew finally manages to intercept the massive alien spacecraft, they discover an old Earth space probe at the center of the ship. Once the probe lost communication with Earth, a race of intelligent machine aliens drastically altered it. The plan to start their TV station was failing at Paramount Studios. Did they really need a costly sci-fi TV series if they didn't need a TV channel? This was when fate took over. Both the original Star Wars film and Close Encounters of the Third Kind were released in 1977 and went on to become massive hits. With a performers cast, the sets either partially or fully constructed, and the scripts in progress, Paramount determined that this sci-fi fad was worth clinging to. They would just need to modify the scheduled TV premiere to create their own successful sci-fi feature film. Thus, on March 28, 1978, at a press conference held by Paramount, it was officially revealed that Star Trek Phase 2 would no longer air. Robert Wise has been confirmed as the film's director earlier that month. The Earth space probe finally became Voyager 6 after the script for In Thy Image underwent nearly constant revisions. Oh, and the hue of the Starfleet uniforms was drastically reduced. Did you think this decision to cancel the Lost series made the fall? Surprisingly, it didn't. Robert Wise dispatched Jeffrey Katzenberg to see Leonard Nimoy in New York, having been strongly persuaded by his son-in-law and daughter to retrieve Spock at whatever costs. With great acquiescence, Katzenberg granted him a say in the final script and Spock's position, in addition to paying him the money Leonard believed he had previously been promised. A successful film was Star Trek the Motion Picture. Star Trek continued as a result of the film's box office success, which brought in $139 million during its $44 million budget, and that turned out to be a success through the following series. 2 of the 12 remaining episodes were altered to become episodes of The Next Generation, while the show's opening double episode was made into a movie. Among them were Devil's Due, in which Kirk battles a demonic energy thing to save a planet, and The Next Generation, in which Picard battles a humanoid con artist posing as a demonic creature. The other movie was called The Child, in which Deanna Troi gives birth to a child who becomes a teenager in a matter of days. The child is actually an extraterrestrial life form, made entirely of energy that wants to know what it's like to be a human. In addition to having an appearance in Star Trek the Motion Picture, former lovers Will Decker and Ilya went on to become the models for Will Riker and Deanna Troi in The Next Generation. Both Decker and Riker had the position of second in command, but when Troi took up Ilya's duties as navigation officer, terrible things happened. Troi is frequently blamed for the ship's disaster, most famously in Star Trek Generations, but also Star Trek Nemesis. Tasha is the name of a probe in the script for In Thy Image that assumes the shape of Ilya. This name foreshadows the character Tasha Yar in The Next Generation. According to the script, this mechanical probe at first features a big eye component that resembles a brooch or pearl. Chekhov compares it to one that his Aunt Tasha once wore. The Enterprise's Phase 2 engineering set served as the model for all later engineering sets in all films from that series to Voyager and The Next Generation. Even the sound stages from Phase 2 test footage were utilized. Star Trek New Voyages, a fan film series that produced 2 episodes based on the 1970s scripts, temporarily went by the name Star Trek Phase 2. Have you ever thought about the crews of this controversial Star Trek Lost series? After creating Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry unsuccessfully attempted to develop other science fiction series for other TV studios, including Genesis 2, Planet Earth, and the Questor tapes. Nevertheless, he was granted permission to move further with Star Trek Phase 2. He continued, hiring writers for each episode, supervising their work, and designing the sets. As usual, Gene handled every little detail personally. Gene wanted to keep the original Enterprise essentially the same, rather than completely rebuilt, even though Ralph McQuarrie had been brought in to assist with its redesign for the Lost Planet of the Titans movie. As a result, Gene decided to temporarily enlist the help of TOS Enterprise designer Matt Jeffries to rebuild the ship for Phase 2, abandoning the McQuarrie design. Mike Miner and Joe Jennings carried on honing the refit aesthetic after Jeffries left. One authentic model, measuring 6 feet in length, was built for the Phase 2 filming of the Enterprise, unlike the redesign for Planet of the Titans. Mike Miner developed sets for the new ship, including the engineering, recreation deck, sickbay, captain's quarters, and bridge. The goal of Star Trek Phase 2 was to bring the original crew back together, but Leonard Nimoy was insistent that he would not go back. So Zahn, a new scientific officer, took Spock's place, and a number of new crew members were established. Kirk would have Commander Decker as his second-in-command, while Ilya, a female alien with a bald head from the recently discovered Deltan species, would serve as the new navigation officer. If you want to know more about movie and drama updates, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click on the bell icon to not miss out on any video and to get notifications on time. Don't hesitate to give suggestions for our videos. Catch you next time.